All right, everybody, welcome back. It's another episode of Butt Crack Cycles, though today we're not doing anything Harley related. We're doing old tractor stuff, which I think is just as cool. You know, a lot of people say shovel heads are just tractor engines, right? If you're brand new to this channel, if this video is how you are finding me, usually this channel is about vintage Harley Davidsons, but I'm starting to sort of branch my videos out into other things. My usual daily life isn't Harley Davidsons. My usual daily life is more stuff like this, heavy equipment, trucks, farm stuff, etc. And so I started, filming some of this stuff. Anyways, I'm going tomorrow to look at an old Oliver tractor, and hopefully I will buy it, and I'm gonna take y'all along for the ride. So the sun's starting to go down. I'm gonna walk into the front yard. We'll get the trailer hooked up to the truck and give everything just a quick little pre-trip and make sure that we're ready to go for an adventure in the morning. Hopefully come home with a cool piece of American iron strapped down to the trailer. Well, I say strapped, chained down to the trailer. No straps here, chains and binders only. All right, let's go walk to the front yard. All right, we've got the trailer hooked up to the truck. Air tank there, aired it up. Put about 120, it's not gonna focus. Yeah, put about 120 PSI on this thing, just in case we got some slack tires somewhere along the way. And just show y'all what I usually do before any trip. We're gonna go lights on, mash the hazards, and do a quick light check, both on the truck and on the trailer. Marker lights burning over here. And we'll walk to the back of this old Hudson trailer here and double check. We've got turn signals, which should also be our brake lights, and you can see the marker light up there is glowing too. So that all looks pretty good. I'm going to turn the camera off, check tire pressures now, and then just, look everything over, make sure there's not going to be anything that's going to give us any headaches tomorrow. This tractor is about an hour and 15 minutes away one direction according to Google Maps, which probably realistically is more like an hour and a half driving a truck and a trailer, especially an old truck like this that doesn't go real fast. So I'm going to turn the camera off and use what little bit of daylight I have left and get us ready to go. All right, it's the next morning, dropping stuff. Start the truck up and let it warm up. I'll walk back inside and make myself a cup of hot tea or something to take with me. Let's see how good this old 7.3 starts this morning. Probably could have let the glow plugs run a little bit longer, but yeah. Put it on high idle and let her warm up. So my buddy Sean came over and we jumped in the truck and got on the road. Sean is usually who goes with me on this kind of stuff, or Chris. Y'all have seen both of them on this channel. Chris and I actually had a big old tractor adventure several years ago. I think it was probably 2018. We went all the way up to Indiana to his grandparents' farm, and his grandfather Durwood, quote unquote, sold him an old Farmall for $1 that'd been in the family since brand new. That tractor had been sitting for years and the engine was locked up, but Chris and I actually got the engine free. We rebuilt the carburetor, put some points in it, did an ignition tune-up, serviced it, and amazingly got the thing to run, put it up on the trailer, and hauled it all the way back home to South Carolina behind my old second-gen Dodge that I used to have. That's actually one of my most favorite, most memorable road trips I've ever done, and I think about that trip a lot. So I'm not new to this old ag stuff, though I've never owned a tractor before. This Oliver that I buy in this video will be the first tractor I have ever personally owned. So anyways, Sean and I made it to the guy's house without really any incident, and we checked out the tractor. He had some other cool equipment there. This tractor had been advertised as running but needed carb work. Well, that wasn't exactly true. It pretty much didn't run at all, though. We fiddle-farted with it enough that I could hear it run to confirm that it would run and that the PTO worked and the 3-point hitch also worked too. So the fellow that I bought this from had a backhoe, and we hooked a chain to it and dragged it up onto the trailer and chained it down and started our way back home with the thing after he and I agreed on a price for the tractor, as well as some extra tires. So we bought the tractor and we're just about to my house. I'm probably just going to leave the tractor on the trailer and just pull it in my backyard and work on it on the trailer. So I'll probably grab the camera and do a little walk around of the tractor so y'all can see, you know, just what kind of shape it's in up close, and talk a little bit about my plans for it and why I even bought this thing. Also, side note, because I know some of y'all like this truck, this is really the first time I've actually towed anything with it since the injectors of the turbo went in it. It mostly just runs around empty, which this truck's pretty heavy empty. It's like probably around 9,000 pounds empty, which means it's full of tools. But it's doing just fine. EGTs look good, and doesn't seem like it lacks any power, so that's a win. So Sean helped guide me back through the gate into my backyard. It's a little bit tight, but it's totally doable, though eventually I'd love to push a second driveway in from the street into my backyard so that I don't have to keep making this goofy turn with a truck that doesn't really turn very well and a trailer behind it. It's not much fun, though. It's not too bad. I mean, if you got a brain between your ears and you know how to drive, you can do it. So after we got the truck in the backyard, we dropped the trailer and then jumped in the back of the truck to get the tires out. This was our workout for the day. These tires are full of water, so they're heavy, but I'm not going to complain. I'm happy to have them. The tires that were on the tractor weren't really, worth anything. They were just junk. So the fact I was able to get these tossed in on the deal was pretty good to me. I'll go ahead and tell y'all what I paid for this. I gave the man $1,200 for the tractor and another $200 for these tires, so $1,400 total. Sean thinks I overpaid a little bit for this. I kind of think I'm right on the money, having looked around at several other tractors in my area in similar condition. I don't think I got a screaming deal on this, but I also don't think that, I got bent over on it either. I think this was fair for what I bought. And y'all will see what I bought in some more detail just here in a second. We'll do a little walk around on this thing. So I'm back home, and obviously the tractor's on the trailer still behind me. And yeah, I figured that I'd take a couple of minutes and we'll just walk around the tractor, point out stuff on it that needs attention and needs work, and just kind of run down, my game plan for this thing to get it to a point where it's actually, usable. And yeah, we'll just talk about it. So let's flip the camera around. Right, so from what I can tell, let's start off with what is this thing. It's an Oliver. We've got a serial plate right here, which very quickly, looking this up, this tractor is either a very, very late 1961 or a very, very early 1962. The serial number break for the 62 model year, from what I can find online, is like 117597, I think is what it is. And this serial plate, you zoom it in right there, it probably won't come through on camera. It's 117391. So if I've learned anything about serial numbers on old stuff, old guns, old bikes, etc., is that when you have something that's sort of right there at the very end of one year, sometimes it's hard to say with certainty that, it's absolutely this year or that. But for all intents and purposes, essentially this is a 61 model. What's wrong with it? What does it need? Well, the biggest thing is tires. You can see that they are very, very dry cracked, and it's beyond dry crack. They're really starting to come apart. If you get down there, I've got some pretty big fissures in them. These tires do have tubes in them, but these are really about to come apart. So I personally, on motorcycles, I'm super anal about tires, cars as well. And probably, those were unacceptable to me. But the good news is, you can see right here, as I showed you all, me and Sean pushing these heavy things out of the back of my truck, I was able to get him to throw in another set of tires. These are on some actually just totally garbage rims. You can see these look like they were in the bottom of New York Harbor or something. The rims have just completely rusted away into nothingness. You can see it right there. Those are just trash. So what I will do is one of our local tire shops here in town, they will do tractor tires. So I will pull both of the back wheels off of this tractor, take both of those wheels with me, and have them put the good tires on the good wheels. So that's probably the biggest major thing, and it's fairly easily solved with a little bit of grunt work and a little bit of money. The front tires, they don't look too bad, and the front tires are easy and pretty cheap, so I wasn't too worried about them. We did get this thing to run long enough to verify that the 3-point hitch goes up and down, and that you can pull the PTO in and such, and so that's good. I was able to see that before I bought it. Obviously, it has valve control for external hydraulics. This was a big selling feature for me. Let's walk around to the back of the tractor. And it just has sort of standard hydraulic quick connect fittings back here at the back. The guy said that this stuff does work, so I'll have to just take him at his word. I really like the Oliver stamping on the inside of the fenders too. Just little small things like that tickle me, make me happy. We're missing the center link for the 3-point hitch right there. That's not a big deal. I asked him if he had one on one of his other pieces of machinery that he'd give me, but he didn't. So no big deal. I'll just run a Tractor Supply or something to buy a center link. But the rear end on this thing looks like it's in pretty good shape. We're not leaking any oil or any fluids. It looks pretty high and dry. So I really can't complain too much about that. This is not the original seat. It says it's a Joyride cushion seat. Let's see if it'll, yeah, there we go. Joyride cushion seat, Fleischer manufacturer in Columbus, Nebraska. Not the original seat, but it doesn't look bad and it's not uncomfortable. I'll climb up into said seat. This tractor has 5,547 hours on it, which is quite a few, but hey, I mean, like I said, it's a 61. Steering, a little bit of slack, not really that bad. Throttle linkage seems fairly smooth. The gear shifter, this tractor has a double H pattern. Got zoomed in on the gear shift pattern. This tractor has a double H pattern. Get it to show up on the camera like that. So we've got a total of 6 forward gears and 2 reverse gears. Hopefully I can get the tack working. I did not see if it worked when it was running. I was standing next to the tractor, and I would love to get all of the gauges on this thing functional. I think that would be pretty nice. Got one light here. It's installed and it's wired very poorly. The wiring on this tractor is awful. What little bit of wiring there is, you can see that right there is just some bare wire spliced together, and it goes, you follow it back here, comes up the inside of the fender and goes, looks like there used to be another light right there on that post, and then a reverse light back here so you can see to back up. All of that's missing, and got some more wires just twisted together and taped, so that'll obviously need to get fixed. Our main source though of problems is right here in the carburetor. The guy said that he had rebuilt this carburetor. He handed me the majority of a rebuild kit. He said, oh well, I put a new jet in it and some new gaskets, and then he said something about that he had couldn't figure out how to put the float together, and there's some clip that he thinks might be missing or something. Long story short is, when you turn the fuel on and have fuel coming in to the carburetor, it then starts just pouring back out the inlet. This should be a fairly easy fix. This looks just like a regular old, you know, updraft carburetor, which I'm not unfamiliar with. I've fixed them before on old Fords and Farmalls and such. So it sounds like this guy just did not know anything about a carburetor, which is fine. I do, so I can fix that. So we'll take that off and fix it up and get the tractor running. Need to service it. The oil that's in it right now is just black as tar. I mean, you can see that stuff is sticky, thick, and pretty gross. So we'll do a full service on it and change the engine oil. Look at the air cleaner assembly. This looks like it's an oil bath assembly, and actually I'm positive it is. It says oil level right there at the bottom. So we'll look at the element there. But really this thing actually doesn't seem like it has any huge amounts of leaks. Valve cover looks like it's maybe leaking and running down some onto the side of the engine block. If we can sort of brighten that up so y'all can see it, but I'm not too stressed about that. And I will probably just drain the transmission, refill that, drain the rear end, refill that too, and then just go over the tractor with a grease gun and grease and lubricate everything. It's got this really big homemade super heavy tough brush guard on the front. I'm guessing somebody used to bush hog with this tractor and they were afraid of hitting a stick in the field and sending it through the coolant package, so somebody homemade that, and that's going to stay on there. That's tough. Last things, got some kind of rigged up safety wired hose clamped going on here before the muffler, and the bracket to hold the exhaust pipe to the hood is broken. Seems like from reading online this is fairly common. Someone's put a piece of pipe around some safety wire there, so that needs to go and get fixed correctly. What do you think, Hank? You like it? Yeah? Tail's wagging. Good boy. So yeah, there it is. My very first tractor. Pretty excited about this thing. Oh, you know what? Other things that need to get done. Yeah, so those spark plugs are ancient. You can see they're rusted. We'll change the spark plugs, probably do some plug wires, just an ignition tune up, do a distributor cap and rotor, throw a set of points in this thing, and make sure that the points are gapped correctly. Yeah. So let's go sit down and talk about why I even bought this thing. Why do I need a tractor? So why did I even buy a tractor to begin with? Well, I don't need one here at my house. We live on a little bit over an acre of property, and that's just not enough property to have a tractor. But a dream of mine for many years has been to buy myself 20 or 30 acre, or however many acres I can actually afford, worth of property, and build a little off-grid hunting cabin and just have a piece of land that I can enjoy sort of as an investment, really. They ain't making any more land and it's only getting more expensive. And you know, something I can enjoy and eventually build a house on and pass down to my family, you know, my son and his family one day when I'm old. I really love to hunt. I spend a lot of time in the fall and winter months outside hunting. And I've got some nice property that I hunt on, but it's not mine. It's my wife's family's property, so I can't do anything to change that property. I can't plant food plots, or I can't plant apple trees, or I can't do anything to change that property to make it better for wildlife, or more attractive for deer or squirrels or rabbits or whatever to be on. All I can really do is just hunt it as it lays, and I might not have access to that property forever. So 2025 looks like I'll probably actually be able to buy a piece of property. I've got some motorcycles, a boat, and a car that'll all get sold in the springtime. Spring's always the best time to sell something in my experience. And I've got an investment that I'm going to cash in and take all that money and hopefully be able to buy a property outright cash. It probably won't be here in York County where I live in South Carolina. Property values have just gone insane here, and unfortunately a lot of tracts of land are getting sold off as the owners of them die and they go into estates, and the children, they don't want 30-acre piece of land, or they don't want a 70-acre little small farm, so they sell it to a developer and then they throw up, you know, several hundred cheap cookie cutter houses, and I don't know where all these people are coming from, but they just keep building and building and building, and the county council and county planning members just keep approving because they just want all that property tax money, and I don't like it. I want to be somewhere quiet and rural. So eventually, we'll probably end up building a house on this property that I buy. But for now, it's going to be just a place for me to go hunt and get away for a long weekend or something to my little shack in the woods that I build. And the tractor is going to be pretty useful for that. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to use it for stuff like land clearing and grading, but I'll be able to use it for little small tasks on that small piece of property. Planting food plots will probably be its primary use, and but for now, I've got a little project, something fun to piddle with. I'm excited about this. I really like old agricultural stuff. I get a little nostalgic for a time that I never knew, 50 or 60 years ago, when little small farms just kind of dotted the countryside, and that's how many people in our country lived. They were a whole lot more self-sufficient than many people are these days, and that's something that I really enjoy. I like planting a garden. I like being able to hunt and fish and trap, and I like knowing that oftentimes the meal that I'm eating is something that I've provided for myself out of the woods or out of the earth, not from the grocery store. So this little tractor, was just one little small piece in realizing that very long-held dream of mine. And hopefully come springtime, I'll have this tractor going really good and be able to buy the piece of property and throw it on the trailer and start, doing whatever I need to do to that property to sort of make it mine. And my goal is this time next year, November, December of 2025, that I'll be leaned up against a tree somewhere out there, maybe looking over some clover or such, or alfalfa that I've planted, with a single action army waiting on a deer to come, and it'll be a little food plot that my little Oliver did for me. So I'm excited about this. I hope y'all are excited to watch this too. If you're an Oliver tractor person and this is how you found my channel, I hope you'll subscribe and give me some advice, because I sure need it. And yeah, that's it for this episode. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.